44 kids or 44 students, we get about 20 parents that have been to every single meeting and do everything that happens.
And you do a post-prom?
Right.
That's great.
But, you know, for the ones that aren't there, I think there's several reasons. Some is work commitments, obviously, and some are, unfortunately, there's some kids out there that don't have a lot of support from home.
Yep.
And, you know, you don't penalize the kid for that. You welcome them into the system and do what you can.
Anything on this, on the blues and gray side of the table?
I'm still in year one. Please on me.
Oh, well, I'm from out of town, so. Well, let's, we can come back to this, we can talk this whole thing through, but looking ahead a little bit, as you look at issues, and as Jeff and I were talking this morning, I thought, you know, I remembered back, and I was thinking about the population award and the new things that you're getting, and the people who are stepping forward in the community to bring some kind of development here, and business development, and just recognition for the community, which is really terrific. I was on a board of the Heartland Center for Rural Development for 23 years. Most towns would give their right arm to have people who pushed a little bit to get their town well known. And you've got a lot of good things going on. There are probably also a lot of issues that you face as you look toward the future. Let's talk a little bit about those issues as they pertain to the school district and what you see coming down the road. What are, in the next 3 to 5 years, what are some local issues that will probably impact your planning?
School finance scares the bejesus out of all of us, I think. You know, because the state aid thing is uncertain. You know, we've had a number of facilities issues that we're right in the midst of addressing that. We're on the front end of resolving
Yeah, which is good.
that, but you know, that's a financial issue as well. And then if we look at just our ongoing, you know, we had a meeting 2 nights ago, and one of the things that Mr. Kroger talked so much about was, you know, we've got some uncertainty about the state aid for next year. You know, we're going to be fine, but, you know.
But that formula always gets adjusted.
That and the fact that the following year we drop off the federal money.
Yeah, the
And
stimulus
so
money.
the state's under pressure,
Yep.
and normally they pass that on when it comes to state aid.
I think just about every school district would tell you that school finance is a huge issue and always is.
A couple of issues I see that I think, you know, we are addressing or need to be addressed is the curriculum to meet the ever-changing demands of the work world or whatever. You know, that's something we need to keep on top of constantly. And another issue, and we had problems about 10 years ago, but keeping staff morale up is a big point that I think is a positive learning environment for the kids. To, you know, if the staff is happy and everything's working good, I think the kids learn so much better.
Yeah.
And it's more maybe at the high school or junior, senior high school than it is at the elementary. The elementary just put in some Promethean boards, and I never seen so much excitement in my whole life between the staff and the students, you know. And that's part of the curriculum, that's part of morale and everything. So, you know, maybe them two are tied together.
Yeah, they probably are. It's the general feeling that we get from teachers, and we have a lot of superintendents and principals that we invite in, and then we go out and visit schools so we kind of know what's going on. teachers generally, and this is a general statement, teachers are feeling really pressed with the No Child Left Behind issues and a move to probably more national standards and the uncertainty about standards generally. I don't hear anybody arguing against high standards, that's not it, but they're caught in a kind of a crossfire that's both political and educational, and they don't know where they stand right at the moment. And a lot of teachers perceive that they are not as creative as they would like to be, that they've lost some of their power to be creative. They're teaching more towards standards, and they just feel like they're less creative and maybe not getting to work with kids in quite the same way that they imagined they would. And that, Bill, may go back to that morale piece a little bit.
And I do, you know, I know standards and assessments are an important part to gauge where they're at, but I've never been real supportive of it because you teach to the level you've got to be at. You're not challenging sometimes to go beyond that. You know, I know there's got to be some kind of standards, but sometimes I think it ties people's hands a little bit.
Well, there can be so many, and I think that's what's confusing right at the moment. To be a 21st century learner or a citizen in the 21st century, what are the things you're supposed to know? The list is enormous. I mean, just around this table, the things that we're supposed to know and be able to do. Together, we might be able to do all of that, but alone, it's an enormous task to just fulfill your duties as a citizen of a country like ours. It's huge. And then you work and raise a family, and do all these other things as well. So schools, I think, face a huge task of organizing your curriculum, planning instruction, helping kids grow, and that's continuous and constant. So I've got school finance, facilities issues which you feel you're addressing, a curriculum to meet the ever-changing demands of the workplace, both at home and internationally. That's my little note. And then staff morale, but I put it in terms of finding a way to provide incentives for teachers, or at least promote their well-being as professionals so that they feel like they're appreciated in doing their work.
Well, it may be part of that, and I don't know if this fits under that or is a different subject, so I apologize, but, you know, as we adjust our curriculum, which we're working on pretty hard right now, just adjusting our teaching assignments to fit with that may or may not be an issue, but, you know, I think over time, you know, we face that regardless. You know, how do we best allocate our resources for staff to do the things that we need to do for that curriculum?
Just a question, this is for curiosity on my part, but are there a lot of kids in the district that live in the district that are homeschooled? Do you have a fair number of kids that are homeschooled, or you know?
Some, I don't know.
I think about
I hate to
8
ask
or
you,
so.
can we get an estimate, staff?
Probably in the neighborhood of 20 or 25.
Oh, really?
Because in the state and in the country, this is growing, the number grows, I think, annually, of homeschooled kids, private school kids, and which is a whole different story. But instruction or knowledge now is so readily available. You talked about power schools, but you know, anybody that can manipulate a computer can get lost in the world of knowledge for the rest of their life if they wanted to. And so knowledge is easily attainable